This is the first episode of the PAWGcast, the Pretty Ass White Gangsters. My name is Hat, and this is Jack Get Some Fingers. He's my partner, and
Jack
today
Gets
we
Some
have Jmac O'Connell, the best Kerry rapper there is. He is the definition of Kerry Gold. His flow is just as buttery.
Thanks,
I think we both have an affinity for fucking terrible dad bars. I think that's where we definitely meet. Because I was looking through your tracks yesterday or today, and I came across fucking Ogre, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I was fucking blown. Jack messaged me yesterday. He was like, "Have you fucking seen this?" I was like, "No way." I was like, "Is that my vibe?" He was like, "It's your vibe." I was blown away. I could not believe it.
Yeah. So okay. So many people tell me delete that. Like take it off.
Fuck
everything.
it.
Oh, never.
Remaster it. Remaster it.
Yeah, do you know what it is, bro? That song is Tony. So how that happened was, it was a case where I actually had a different song where there was a bar where I said, "I'll hit you with the magic wand, but I'm not Potter." And then a girl popped up and she goes, "Haha, that's funny. You should do something about Shrek." And I said, or a Shrek bar.
What a weird connection for her to make.
So she's
so out of left field.
That is true. So she just said, "You should do a couple of Shrek bars," and then obviously because of my ADHD and hyperfocus, I ended up making a full song. And I was really, really ill when I was recording. I could barely breathe. You could hear it in the song. I'm like taking deep breaths and everything. And it was just clusterfuck, but I like it. So yeah, it's staying there.
Oh, I love it.
That's
if I ever
glorious.
see you live, that's the one thing I'm fucking requesting. I want to see that live. I want to see you go, "Come to my swamp." 100%. You were ill, but you were ill in a different way to me, I believe.
Okay, go on.
But yeah, let me see what other kind of stuff we have. Yeah, and see, another thing we were talking about as well is like, even though we love dad bars, like me and you, I mean I love the Ogre song, but you also seem to talk about a lot of like, like mental health and like all these completely almost the antithesis of stupid shit. And like, why do you always talk about kind of things that people just don't? I don't think in rap they do, but not as much. I don't think, especially in the Irish scene right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like, for me, it's like, obviously we can't just all be talking about pain rap, or we all can't be talking about, we need to go to the club, and like, you're not going to be listening to my song about domestic abuse while trying to turn up. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But there are definitely enough songs out there, and the labels are taking care of that, and the mainstream media and stuff is making sure that there's enough songs out there everyone can turn up to. So like, there needs to be that element as well where we do talk about mental health, and there are rappers out there, like some of my favorite rappers are the likes of maybe NF, some UK rappers like Loki and stuff. I like people who are really authentic and stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm better at being me than I am better at rapping in a London accent on a Joe beat. So that's it for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's because the American accent and the UK. I mean, like, we get called American, but I mean, I think it's just something we got to take on the nose. But with the UK, like, a lot of people overemphasize it, and a lot of people hate it. But like, I mean, I think it's an unpopular thing. But sometimes when you hear someone rapping in a Donegal accent, I think it's fucking trash. I think it's horrible. Like I can't bump it. Do you know what I mean?
No, but that's fair enough. But like, I think what it is about being authentic to yourself, because music is expression of self, no matter what you're doing. So as long as if your intention is to make music that bumps and you want people to fuck with, then do that. You know what I mean? But for me personally, I think it's good because I've experienced a lot of different things. And if I have the ability to relate to people, and because for me, like the music, like I was saying earlier, Eminem's music, NF's music, it got through me to some really tough times. Like, I couldn't have got through those tough times listening to in the club. It just wouldn't have done the same thing for me. So I just think it's important. Like, I like to be that little minority of the people who do make that music. Trust me, there's vibes coming too. But yeah, I think it's important.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is really important. But like, from just what I've seen from like Irish artists, they're like, I've seen nobody who would be doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And like, do you think it's bad that nobody else is doing it? Like, because everyone else is like, I'm getting a hoe, I'm killing a hoe, or a hoe is gonna kill me. Like, that's it. There's nothing else.
I can only relate to one of those three things with the hose, and that's being killed by them. I don't get hose. There are zero hose, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I think it's just yeah. I mean, do you look at here's the thing. At the end of the day, as if you're happy doing what you're doing, that's the kind of a main thing. Like that's my first blanket of it because like I used to be very like I'd listened to people's music before when I was very, and if I didn't hear mad syllables or mad rhyme schemes or I wouldn't rate it. But then I've kind of like learned to open my mind a little bit more and, you know, understand that they were going for a vibe. So I appreciate that and all that. But yeah, I just think that maybe too many people are going for vibes and going for the same vibe. You know, like how many, you know, that song Body by Adi Adiola thing. Like how many drill beats now are going to have the and then how many more songs are going to sound very similar? It's basically this year's version of Keisha and Becky. That, you know what I mean? And then there'll be another one. And if everyone's doing that, then yeah, I don't know. I think more people should probably be authentic, but they're probably afraid to be authentic because it's hard to be accountable for your words. If I just say I fuck a hoe and I have a Benz and all that and I stab the man, somehow there's no accountability in that. But if I talk about the fact that I might have been toxic in a relationship before, I'm accountable for that. Well, it is what it is.
But that's a big thing about well, just like growing up. And like maturing and accepting, or even being a man per se, like is about saying your faults and stuff like that. And I think you're probably all right. People don't want to, you know, if someone had a bad relationship, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to only tell my friends about that when I'm drunk. I'm not going to go on a mic and say it. But that you know, it's a shit way to be. Because sometimes when I look at Irish hip hop,
with the girl was the bad guy angle too.
Yeah, like, man, there's so few songs. Yeah, so few songs where it's actually not I was the bad guy.
Yeah. No, see, the thing is I because I listen to you guys as well. You know, like thanks for having me on and everything. And I love what you guys
for coming
do.
On.
Yeah, I love what you guys do in terms of. I understand what you're doing in terms of you've got your funny stuff and everything, but I've heard real shit too. You know what I mean? And I like that because I think that's the flavor you need to be able to have to get to people to relate. Is that you? Because at the end of the day, we probably relate to each other so much. We probably use humor as coping mechanisms for different things.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. And I think a lot of men do that. And yeah, so I think it's just important, man, just to have that kind of let's fucking talk about it. Because at the end of the day, we know it's there. Like, so you know, elephant in the room. I think it's not helping anyone.
There's no point of like pretending it's not there. But I also think in my from my point of view with music, like I would be like apprehensive to talk about things, you know, to be accountable for it. So I got to commend you for that, for being like, look, it is what it is. I'm gonna say it, because I wouldn't say that I'm someone who's shy or anything like that. But when it comes to that, it's really vulnerable because it's, you know, sometimes you feel scared of telling a friend, but if you're putting out the whole world and the whole world could judge you. And they can be like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're a pussy. Yeah. It's ballsy. Like,
well, I'm so glad you put it that way because it's exactly that vulnerability. But saying it's ballsy is exactly the message. There's strength in vulnerability. So like my whole thing is that like I put on so many masks as a man before, like, you know, whether it be humor, aggression, whatever it may be. And it was just me not dealing with my issues or dealing with myself kind of a way. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a case of, it's weird, like it's almost like before I used to like get into a fight with a guy really quickly to prove to every other guy in the room that I was like alpha and whatever, when really I was probably more afraid then I did like I don't know then I just got way more confident, and now I don't feel like I even have to prove anything to anybody because I feel like there's more strength in that kind of a way. So if like someone calls me a pussy or whatever, I'd just probably respond and say, yeah, but pussies give life, like pussies are really strong. Like a ball sack is actually pretty weak, you know. So I just say some stupid shit, and then they're like,
"What if they're like, well, then you're a fucking ball sack?"
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I'd probably just deep it and just be like, "Oh, so you're being." I don't know, man. I don't know. I just you know what it is when I know someone's trying to annoy me or they have an intention like that to kind of shit on me. I have this kind of complex thing where I'm never going to give that person what they want. So if the object of them is to annoy me in any way, I'll make sure I don't get annoyed.
That's a good way to look at it. Because I mean, like most people will be reactive, you know, they won't be.
No, be responsive, be not reactive. Because you'll, and I'm not even saying like I'm like a saint, because my objective is to out petty them, but just in a cleverer way. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like,
be the bigger man to a degree.
Yeah, you just there's ways to do things and there's ways not to do things. But yeah, I think strength and vulnerability, I think, is the main thing. Like I've started doing it now, man. Like randomly in a movie or a scene, someone will make me cry, and I don't care who's in the room. My dad could walk past and I'll start crying. He's like, and I'm like,
You ball
I'm
sack.
strong. I'm strong, Dad.
But
Yeah,
Jack,
man.
would you be the same as like not able to be vulnerable, like when it comes to music? Because I think I would be. No, I definitely would
was
be.
like that, but I feel like when you make music and the more you make it, I feel like you get more confident being yourself. Like, because if you can put it out there, then you're nearly stronger than the person who will shit on you that can't.
But do you think you're being stronger? You become more confident in yourself if you are like playing an ego, like people who are like go to the club, we go home, and then we went to the club. Like, will they become more confident in themselves, or this like alter ego that
If you're
doesn't
playing
have
that
all
kind
these
of
problems
ego,
attached to them?
I would always think that, you're only going to be comfortable in that situation. But if
Yeah.
you can say stuff about you that nearly you would be afraid to say, like, in a room full of people, but you can say it into a microphone, I think it's like a form of therapy in a way.
Bang on, yeah.
Yeah.
So to just to say exactly, you like explained it way better than me. That's exactly it as well, man. It's like if you even look at the way I've structured my music, my album, for example, the Issues album, that's extremely structured. That has all the pain and that has like a story monologue to it. You won't hear the types of like songs like Ogre or a Vibe on my albums because
Should have been though. Fucking should have been.
because
That
I'm
was my
telling
only issue with it.
because I'm thanks, man. Because I'm telling a narrative like through my albums. Because I've conceptualized 3 albums, 1, 2, and 3, and they're all packing together. So like when I drop singles, that's when I have fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
yeah.
I feel like there's songs that have to be made and songs that I want to make. Some Mike Righteous said it before. Some music we make for the shelves and some music we make for ourselves. And when I'm
Good way
talking
to put
about like. Yeah, when I'm talking about like self-harming myself or me being toxic in a relationship or me like suicide or any of these kind of things, it's mostly for me. It's a lot of the time I'm pretty selfish when I hear a beat because it's about me, and then it's great if someone can relate to that afterwards. Of course,
Yeah.
it is, and I know that they probably can. So, like he said it perfectly, if I hadn't have had music as an outlet, I probably wouldn't be here. So it's a case that if I can use that and it happens for someone else as well, and then they start writing bars, which has happened. A couple of people who don't write music, like my brother started rapping because I started rapping and he had a lot of stuff he's dealing with. So you don't realize the knock-on effect you have with people. And I think that's the message. If you can help one person, doesn't matter if 100 people call you a dickhead, as long as you helped one person.
And like, well, no, that's yeah. I mean, like, you never see the knock-on effect of your music. I don't think, because how could you? Like, if you put out a song about something, an issue, like, you're never gonna know if someone's like, shit, that actually helped me today, because most of the time they're not gonna tell you.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. Like, I'll be honest with you, I listen to some of your guys' music when I want to catch a bit of a fun, like especially that Fun Guy song. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Jack, you're not on that one, you prick.
Yeah, and I've gone through your catalog as well, guys. It's fun, but that's what I mean. Like, everyone needs to make different types of music and everything. But I just feel like there's, you're basically articulating now, is that it's a smaller section of people who are doing it.
Yeah.
Because it is more vulnerable, and I completely understand that as well. I'm not even that much of a private person. Do you get what I mean? I'm a very extroverted. It's probably much easier for me to be that way than it is for other people. So maybe they need to venture other ways, and I can understand that too. But for the people that can just do what you do best. Give yourself give the world the best version of yourself, whatever that may be, and that's what I think I'm doing with myself at the moment.
I mean, that's a really good way to look at life. Like, I mean, I'd probably be more of the pig-headed and be like, well, just talk about your problems, Phil, But you're more like, look, maybe Phil doesn't want to talk about his problems, which is a better way to look at it. I think you have a more patient and understanding than I probably would, to be honest. Like,
I've had to be, just because we've learned like that certain things don't work, like, and I don't know, man, like, because again, like, I'm very opinionated. So when somebody asks me something good, A lot of the time, because my version of good isn't always someone else's version of good. You get what I'm saying? Like I like bars, like I like bars and stuff. Like I like a wave and stuff like that as well. But I'm always going to rate the guy with the bars way more than I'm going to rate, even if the guy gives me a better wave than his bar. It's a weird one, you know.
Okay.
It's a weird one. But like I
But it's
don't
a
know.
preference. Music's always a preference, you know. It's
There
always
you go.
what you fucking like.
Look again, a good example, man, is NF. Look at his career. He has a very niche market, but at the same time, it's so particularly niche that you're completely filling that market because there's a lack of supply and demand there. You know, because he's talking about these massive issues, and like I'll tell you, like I can think of a million rappers that I can go to for a wave right now on my phone. I can only
Yeah.
think of maybe five that I can go to relate to the pain that I felt in certain aspects or ways. You know.
But so what's the difference between those guys? Do you think it's just like its actual ability, or is it the fact that they're just not afraid to talk about it?
Uh, it's probably a lot of things, man. Probably depends on how you cope as a person as well and how you see things. Because like me, like I said earlier, music's a reflection of self. You know, when you listen to a song that perhaps I had about a breakup, you might think that the way I'm speaking about that woman, regardless of what happened in the situation I'm explaining to you, you might think that's really toxic. You know, whereas someone else might listen to that and say, yeah, fuck that bitch. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. So it's completely speculative, and I think it's completely a reflection of yourself. Like, so to answer that, it's kind of like it depends on who's making the music and what they're basically projecting or reflecting from themselves.
Yeah, some people don't feel comfortable putting out that pain, I guess. You know, some people kind of just would rather cheer people up than let people know because they might think they're going to bring people down if they talk about it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not really how it goes, I suppose.
It's a good point.
You never like Robin Williams, you know, like that guy was always making people laugh and not, you know, then he fucking killed himself, you know, because he was probably so sad. But it's
there
easier
you go.
to do it like that.
Yeah, but there you go. That's the thing, and he's one of my idols. Like in life, I absolutely love that man. We're both ENFPs and all of that, and it's just a case where I don't know, man. Yeah, but I think Jack's got a good point. Like you can look at it one way or another way, can't you? Like you can say, Jesus, man, this world is pretty shit, and you can go, I'm gonna make a banger that's gonna make everyone happy, which is the right thing because your intentions are the right thing to do. Or else you can look at it a different way. You can go, I want to acknowledge this particular pain because people aren't talking about it, and then I'm going to, you know, resonate with them, and then they can feel it that way. Because, like for me, when I can either catch it one way. Sometimes I listen to Glee. I listen to Glee a lot of the time. Their covers when I want to feel really happy and like want to be elevated and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's other times, and because I'm sad. But then there's other times when I'm sad where I actually want to listen to pain and sad music to get that relatability.
I think that's so weird that like when you're sad, you like want to make yourself more sad. It's like it's so weird because you know you're making yourself more sad, but you just can't stop. Like when I get sad, I'm like I'm gonna play this music because I know I'm gonna get sadder. But I know if I played some happy music, I'd probably get over the sadness quicker. But you just don't. I think it's a weird.
I think it's about dealing with your feelings as well. This is the thing, right? Is that when we feel pain emotionally, especially, we have a tendency to try and stop it immediately. Like that's or you want it to stop. How do I get it stopped? Do I smoke? Do I drink? Do I basically what do I do? Or do I go out and have sex? Or whatever your stimulus is, whatever you're doing. But if you think about it, the thing to do is actually let the pain happen because that's when the healing starts. Do you get what I mean? Because what you're doing if you're not doing that, because I figured that out. I was very anxious for a long time and still am, but like a lot more before. And I realized it was because I was constantly overthinking things. And what I was doing, it's like there being a highway or something and your thoughts are just racing by. Do you know what I mean? And like I had the tendency to grab onto one and just go flying with it and then be all over the place. I've kind of learned now to just let it go by, and I'm just like a passerby of it because I let them come and go as they please. I don't chase them, you know. So if it's sad, I'll sit there and I'll be like, I'm sad, and I'll actually even say it. I'll just be, I'm really sad. I might cry for a minute, and then because I'm so accepting of the fact that I'm sad, eventually I actually get bored of being sad, and I'm like, this is stupid, and then you know what I mean, and I'm happy. It's weird.
Do you think you could overindulge in the sadness sometimes though? Like people can be addicted to it in a way that they can be like, no, I am sad and I'm going to stay sad because this is just better than trying to be like happy or, you know, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think there's a difference. I suppose there's a difference between having a victim mentality and having like a trauma mentality. So like
Yeah,
if you have like, because if you have trauma happen, you need to go through a process of grief or whatever, the fight, however many stages of it there is, like, you know what I mean. So you do need to go through that. Now if you become addicted to that, because you can become addicted to thought patterns the same way you can to drugs or alcohol, whatever. If you become addicted to becoming a victim and being like, I'm sad, nothing ever happens for me, you'll never see opportunity. And then your life will reflect the things that you think about yourself. It's all about your reticular, like, it, just to get boring on you guys, reticular activating system, a network of neurons in your brain. And basically the ideology is, when you look at a Facebook page, too much information would come in, it would explode your brain
yeah,
if you didn't have this filter. But what programs the filter is you. So if you, for example, what you go looking for is, your brain loves to agree with itself. So if you go into work thinking these people don't like me, your brains will constantly be pointing out signs throughout the day that that's facts, because it likes to agree with itself. Whereas if you change the narrative, it's hard to, you can't just change it, wake up one day and go, oh yeah, everything's great,
yeah.
because
It's gonna take a long time.
you're physically changing neural pathways in your brain. It's like shoveling snow down a road, like, or the road less traveled. Like, there's reasons there's roads the way they are. They were traveled the most way. If we tried to break a brand new road now from Kerry to Cork, it would take a long time. So it's the same way, but it's small things like that. And like, to kind of highlight on the point really is like, as long as you're doing that, whatever you're looking for is what you think is what you'll become. So if you think, I'm always sad, I'm always depressed, blah blah blah, all of this, then you probably will be. If you think, I'm sad because this trauma happened to me and this is how I'm going to deal with it, and then I'll feel better, then that's probably what's going to happen too.
I think from that, I'm gonna have to start only thinking I'm attractive to fat women. I think that's going to be my one thing. And that's I'm hopefully going to change my own narrative like that. But it is true. You do have to start looking for the good instead of waiting for the good to look for you. But
Yeah.
most people will be like, fuck it, I'm sad, life is shit, life is that, life is this, and they just won't do it.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
But do you think so? What do you think your album did for you? For like, well, first off, just for like your mental, and then second, do you think it did anything for like, for the musically, how people interpreted you or anything like that?
Okay, so like my plan. So for me, mentally, 100%. That album got out some things that really, I suppose, like, before I can even think about making other tracks, I know there are certain tracks that I have to get out of me as my therapy, and
Okay.
I still haven't even done that, because the album number 2 and album number 3. But yeah, but like, so the album did so much for me. And not only that, it's like, it's crazy, bro, because I didn't start rapping until, like, I'm 27. So like, I didn't start rapping until 26, until I was like 26, you know.
Damn, only a year. That's pretty fucking good going.
Yeah. So
did you start because of the lockdown, or was it just before this?
Okay, so I started writing about it. So I'd written poetry when I was like 15 or 16. And like, I'd written little bits and bobs, and I've always been a student of the game, whether it be old school, like 80s, 90s hip hop, and then all the way into the UK scene, everything that's happened since, anything musically, and then tons of other music as well. So like, yeah, for me, I've always been like a student of the game. Like I said, I watch battle rap all of the time. I just, so it's always been marinating, that kind of a way. I've always been very particular as well. I can't listen to like, if we're having a conversation and like Eminem is playing in the background, or Joyner Lucas or somebody spits bar, my brain will just go, fuck what you're saying, and I'll actually just be listening to their bars, and I can do the verbal nods and you'll think I'm completely listening to you. I haven't a clue what you're saying. I just hope it's not a question, but yeah, so for me it was that, and it actually was a trauma from a breakup, that really toxic relationship where I got like cheated on and stuff, and I had all this resentment and I had all this anger, and I genuinely wanted to kill somebody, like, and it was like, I even had stupid like thoughts of killing somebody and all this stuff. So I was like, what the hell, man? I was like, I need to do something. So I wrote my first song, which was called Faded, which I recorded on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's actually sick, but the production is shit and everything like that. Like, the bars are sick in it, man. There's triple entendres in there and everything. But anyway, I'll probably re-record and put it up at some stage. But yeah, and then I was like, okay. And then after I'd done it, I was like, holy shit, I actually done that. And my whole life I'd wanted to do it, but I'd never had the balls to step forward and try it and actually do it. Too much negative self-talk and all of that. But I just have decided to go for it, man. And the thing with me is, like, I've mentioned it, like with the ADHD, because I think people should talk about that more, because I know it's like a fake thing, because that's what I was told my whole life and shit like that. But I've actually learned I don't have a neurotypical brain, and one of the abilities I have is to hyper focus. So I can't focus very well on menial tasks or something where but if I find something interesting or stimulating, I hyper focus. So that's why, and like, this isn't like a flex or anything. This is probably turned into an addiction. If anything, it probably isn't healthy, but I can easily sit there and write for 7 hours of the day. You know what I mean? On
That's
various
pretty
beats.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I've got stupid amount of lyrics and stuff, and I always write for the wastebasket. So like, people often say to me, how'd you get past writer's block? I say, write about writer's block. Write about a piece of bread and make it into a metaphor about racism, about how some are, or about the world, about some are skinny, some are thick, some are, Hovis 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Just do whatever, man.
That's a pretty good advice then, yeah. Because I know a rapper I listen to, he's called Tom McDonald. I remember him saying in an interview one time that just rap about what you know. Like, if you take dogs walk, if you walk dogs, write about that. Don't be write about things that you don't know. I think that is a thing that I tried to incorporate, and it definitely helps because you know what you fucking know.
Trust
Like,
me,
if
exactly.
if you're thinking about something, you can write about it. Like,
And even him, like, let's talk about it's like, if anyone wants to talk about like balls to be yourself, it's that guy. Now, like, here's the thing, right? And that's the thing with music, is like, do I agree with everything he says? No, not at all. Do I agree with most of what he says? Probably not either. But the thing is that the way he goes about it and everything, he's unapologetic about his opinion, but like, he doesn't really try and outweigh fact. I think that too many people do that, like with fact and opinion thing. Like, there's facts and then there's opinions. You know what I mean? Like, he's being very authentically himself, but he's saying it with chest. And
yeah,
I don't agree with most of what he says and everything. And I preferred his no response, like that phase. When he was coming in with those heavy bars, like poison darts as Tony Stark and blah blah blah, all of that kind of stuff.
and now he's just like, fuck everybody.
Yeah, and now he's just gone crazy, and obviously, I don't know. I don't like the new Eminem thing. I think that's such a beg. But anyway.
Oh, it is a bag, but you gotta respect him. The 100K
The
on a beat,
marketing.
like, that's pretty fucking insane.
The marketing. He's a marketing genius.
Oh yeah, he is. He is.
He deserves that. See, that's the thing with me, man, is that I'll rate what I rate about you, and I might not rate everything, but I will give you credit where credit's due. And then if you want constructive criticism, where I say, like, I think his hooks are trash, that's just, you know what I mean.
See, I'm a huge Tom McDonald fan. I am like, I love that man.
I love his
fact
I love
he's like, you know what? Fuck everybody.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying, bro, is that, like, I rate that a lot, but like, for example, I think his hooks, I think the way he structures his hooks and the way he does the audio on them, personally, that's not to my taste. I think
it's very like Blink 182 kind of hooks that he does. It's very like punk rock.
I think he's better than that. If you look at the diss he done against Mac Lethal, he showed his fucking capabilities on that track, man. 7-11.
I feel like when you're trying to make, I mean, like, a part of music, if you want to make it a job, is about pleasing people. So I think if you want to do that, I think you do have to go above, like, dumb it down, essentially, which is a thing that a lot of people hate who really love the craft. But I think if you want to make it a job, you've got to.
You're so right, and like, that's the advice I need to take. But I find it so hard because, like, I understand marketing and everything, and I understand how to make the songs that would do really well, and I understand all of that. Like, I understand it, but I'm just at my own detriment, perhaps, maybe financially or musically, getting my name out there and stuff. Probably not doing myself any favors, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like I make music for me. Like, and at the end of the day, if it ends up pleasing people, then fair enough. Like, I could be happy. I'd honestly be happy, bro, if, like, my main objective with music is just to make enough that I can fund just continue doing music and I'm not struggling. Like, past that, I couldn't give a shit whether, like, if it was workable, if 5 people listen to my music consistently, or if I had millions of fans, it doesn't matter. It's neither side of the fence for me. It's about the fact that I made this music and I dealt with the shit I needed to do it, and then it helps somebody.
I think the idea is pretty tough, of like the fear of maybe if you make a song that isn't the kind of song you want to make, but it blows up, and then you're known as the guy who makes music like this. but it's not what you want to do. So then you nearly get backed into the corner of doing what you don't want to.
So what I would do there is say it with chest. Like I've got a song called Alina Lopez, and like there's probably a couple of smiles going around there because the lads know. Like, trust me. So I've got a song called Alina Lopez, and it's just it's basically me sitting down and almost taking the piss out of like some of the songs I've heard, but I've played it to people and people think it's good. Like people think it's a vibe and everything. So like what I'll probably do at some stage is release it. And the way I'll release it is I'll be like, hey guys, you know I'd never sell out, right? But if I were to do it, here's what it might look like. And then everyone will go at this fucking guy, and then they'll laugh, and then the whole selling out thing is like they'll get over it. And that's the thing. Say it with chest. Don't hide what you're doing because people see through it. When people can see through the smoke and the mirrors, then they don't trust you. The first time you lie, you got. So like I just say everything with chest, and that's the thing with music, man. When I made Ogre, I fucking meant it. When I made Faded, I meant it. When I made a diss track to somebody that or whatever, or when I made a specific track at that particular moment in time, I meant what the fuck I was saying. So, yeah, I might change my opinion since, but it's an accountability thing. We're not like, it's not like My Name Is Earl. We're not gonna always make a list for everything we've ever said or ever done and go back and do it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You meant it at the time. You were saying it then. Maybe like I'm sure Tom McDonald will look back in years' time, and even the king of not giving a fuck, he will look back and probably look at one of her songs and say, maybe I could have, or whatever. Yeah. But at least he was being himself at the time.
Sure, even Eminem looking back on a lot of his stuff, he's still like, shit, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Man, I'm like that. I'm like, I shouldn't have even gone as aggressive against, because like I've one diss track that I didn't release because, and I'm so glad there was an issue with not releasing it because I went way too far. Like
and was it against a specific person or?
Yeah.
And do you know the person or is it like an online spat?
No, I know the person. I'd love to get. Yeah, it's just one of those situations where it's complete overkill. It's like Eminem says, it's like Godzilla stepping on a crouton with combat boots on. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, and it's almost getting to the point where I want to encourage people to be like less aggressive and more dealing with stuff, but then at the same time, if someone like pisses me off in real life and then I go and destroy them verbally and everything, I'm not really representing myself too well there. So I made the song, I got all the anger out because it's a good thing to deal with that anger, because otherwise I probably would have punched the head off somebody. But like so I was like, so I got all that out and now it's sitting on my laptop. I even had a visualizer and a video made for it and everything, and but I can watch it back and everything because there's a guy that he looks like, and then it's funny. It's
it's a he. We're getting closer. I'm liking this.
if you know Hercule from Dragon Ball Z, this dude looks like Hercule from Dragon Ball Z. So I got like him being punched in the face with lots of different clips and stuff to the background of my very aggressive track about me.
That's going next level. Actually getting visualizers to get the guy punched.
Yeah, well, 100%. I think again, like do everything you're doing, say it with chest and everything. Like if you're going dissing somebody, do properly, like, and obviously have your reasons and that. Don't just go doing it for clout, because people diss each other for clout too, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, well, I would do that 100%.
Yeah, and not even sad, I suppose, but like, I don't know, bro. It's not for me personally. I get it, I understand. I like Logan Paul and all that shit. I understand what he's doing, fair play and stuff. Like, it's just not for me personally.
I love. See,
I would only do it.
In the day, didn't J. Cole and Drake? Everyone tried to make them beef because they were just two superstars, and then in Middle Child, didn't J. Cole say you act like two legends cannot coexist?
Yeah,
like, you don't have to just beef because beef's an option. Like,
but people love to see it though. People just like, that's why Jeremy Kyle is a fucking show. People love to see people in pain or angry. Right. We're humans are fucking assholes.
Yeah. So 100%. And I think, like, for example though, there's a difference for me now. Like, let's say if me and you said for the crack, like, let's like do I don't know, we'll both record a 16 or a 32 and do a little animated thing where we like clash each other or whatever. That to me would be very different of how I'd approach it if you were to actually be like, I want to clash you. Do you know what I mean? And like if some other rapper came from like some other part of Ireland and was like, fuck what you do, your shit, like, and was really saying it with chest and everything, like, for me, because I'm a massive battle rap fan, it's either bars held or no bars held. So like with bars held, do you know what I mean? I won't really like, because what I'll do if it's no bars held is I'll try and find the thing that I know is going to really jugular, like it's hard, and then I'll get really descriptive with it, and I'll really go for it, but I'll do it in a humorous way where the crowd will at your expense laugh at whatever I'm laughing at and everything. Do you know there's a part where I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Bodied.
No, that's the Eminem produced it, didn't he?
Yeah, Eminem produced it, and basically there's a part where they're rapping at the end and they're friends, and one of the guys, his daughter has like a lung problem and she's gonna die and stuff, and then basically your man's rapping at him, and he's just like, oh, you can put a roof over her head, but it's just like, it's a pity you can't fill her lungs with no breath or some shit like that, and all this kind of stuff. And like for me, especially if I'm going against somebody who understands dissing and beef and stuff like that. Basically, as long as we're both understand what it is, it's the same as an MMA fight. Like, I'm not going to come in there 50% punching you because you're going to knock me out. I'm going to try and absolutely kill you and never come back from that. But then at the same time, if it's something like internet beef or something like that, I'll write you a little silly diss track. Do you get what I mean?
See, I think I get the silliness. I love the idea of dissing someone, but everybody's in on it, bar the people who like listen to it. You know what I mean?
Have you ever heard of a compliments battle?
Yeah, they are fucking brilliant. They are fucking incredible.
I had one on Instagram live with a guy recently. So we were initially going to clash, and then we're friends and stuff, and we're like, fuck that energy. So we were like, let's do a compliments battle instead. So we had 2 rounds, man. It was lit. It was.
Who won?
I did, yeah.
Nice. And who was the guy?
He was one of my mates. He's one of my mates from the UK, just from meeting on Instagram Live. He's a really talented young guy. He's 18 and he's doing bits already. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that, but I just think, I just came with. He freestyled a lot of what he was doing, and I came with some really meticulously, like, I don't know. I said he traveled the world in one step. He put out the Australian wildfire with one breath. I said just stupid shit, man.
Just really nice things to say about someone.
He was smiling a lot afterwards, and he felt good about himself as a person. So I think I did my job well.
Well, I mean, if we ever come to compliments battle, I am definitely down for that one. I'll tell you right now. Always down for compliments battle. Not with you, Jack, you prick. What was I gonna say? What about that? The track you dropped, "Bittersweet" with Enticement. How did that all come about?
So how that came about was basically, so remember I told you everything started with Faded, yeah? So that started with, and remember I said you could look back on a situation. So if you listen to the Faded song, I'm talking about the same person, but it's a very different look. Like basically I was like, Pinocchio knows and you know how to grow it. I was like, just avoided sexual infection from you and all this kind of stuff. So it's a very kind of angry resentment way of looking at it. Bittersweet was written because me and this person actually got back in contact after all the toxicity and stuff like that. And then rose tinted glasses came back on again. And then it was another situation. And then it got kind of to the point where we just didn't really know what we're doing again. And it was like, right, okay, this is why it didn't work the first time, because blah, blah, blah. So it was almost a case of, for me, it was a case of letting go and closure, because I never thought I'd experience anything like that relationship, but sometimes you just never will get closure off a person. Sometimes somebody can do some horrible shit to you, and they might not even say the words, I'm sorry. Never mind the detailed, I acknowledge blah, blah, the way I do it. Like, not even acknowledging the shit that they done to you. So sometimes you just have to love yourself more, man. You know what I mean? That's what that song's about, is loving yourself a bit more. It's me saying I love this person so much and stuff like that, but at the end of it as well, like, the energy's not there. Like, if you love yourself 20% and someone comes in and they show you 40% love, you'll think that's loads, but that's still 60 short of 100. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to figure out how to slowly accept yourself and love yourself to the point where it doesn't matter who's around you and everything like that. And that's what it's about now for me. So Bittersweet was kind of closing that chapter on my life. And as well, not only that, I don't want to follow Eminem's route of the whole Kim thing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I don't want everyone to be like, oh, Jmac dropped a new song. Did he mention his ex? What do you think? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's annoying because some of the best bars come from that. Because when I'll be writing a bar or something, and like a lot of the things I mean rapping is about paying girls or, you know, whatever. And then when I think girl, like a lot of the time, yeah, or whatever. If someone tasks me, like I've wrote sea shanties and shit as well. Like, you know, I wrote.
And are these getting released or have they been released?
Basically, bro, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about doing an album called. I was thinking of doing an album called Silly Goose, and or an EP called Silly Goose, and it's just basically my throwaways. Like, there's one called Smooth that I have, and the hook, like I was telling you about, is Jmac is smoother than a gum job. If I shoot my shot, then it ends up in a cum shot. And like, there's all this kind of stuff. I said, bite down on the pillow. She's trying to be discreet, made her come too hard. Now she's missing all her teeth. And the ad lib is like, and then like honestly, it's but like in my own head, I'm kind of like, do you release these or not? Like, I was like, who are you adding value to with these songs? And then I'm thinking, people probably like you.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like when Jack sent me that fucking ogre screenshot, I was like, no way. And I was at the shop with my housemates, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to this when I get home. I was like, this is my vibe. You know, it's like I love like music, like even in the Irish scene, like there's not many good guys, you know, who are really top level. And I know that if I had a chance to pick any of the songs that I know from people who are like, you know, who are unknown, it's Ogre. If I'm at a party and someone's like, oh man, what do you want to play? I'm like, oh wait, you know, and just look at everyone in the party being like, what is this? And like that's what I would play. So drop the Silly Goose EP specifically for me.
Do you know what? Do you know what's sad? I actually bought the beat as well for Ogre. Like, I actually bought it. I actually spent money. Do you know what? I might do, because I'm in the studio here. I might re-record it and get everything, because the levels I have now is I might make that a banger. You know, why not, man?
Yes. Remaster Ogre. Remaster.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll get a video going, and we'll get a load of Shrek masks. I can see it happening already, bro. We'll do like a drill type vibe, except we'll all be jumping around with Shrek things.
Man, I say that going viral 100%. 100%. Yes, do it. Drop a drill Shrek track, and I will love it. I will fucking love it. I'll play it if no one else does. What time are we on? Does anyone have a fucking timer, or does this thing have a timer?
I don't have a timer. It's 5:45, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, are you good to go for another like 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, of course, bro.
Yeah, because we've been all over the fucking place with this. We've been every single avenue. We've been to, you know what? Fuck it, Shrek, drill, and then like just really deep personal stuff. And there's been no fucking in between step. It's just been one to the next. Like,
that's what conversations with me are like on a day-to-day
basis.
That's
what you fucking want, like 100%. What do you think about Well, first off, what do you think about marketing yourself like nowadays, and also being so active on the socials? Because I know me and Jack, we struggle with having to, like, you go to TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Like, there's so much that is so different from just the music. So what do you think, and how do you deal with it? And like, do you have any more plans for the future to get more like deep into it or developed in it?
Yeah, so like, you know, I kind of do the stuff that I find fun. So like, for example, like the Freestyle Fridays and like Instagram lives and stuff, I find that fun, you know, and I mean, I enjoy doing them. Whereas there's other stuff that I understand will do well for me, like stuff on TikTok, just do the duets, do the rapping on verses and all of that stuff. But like, I have to want to do it, and like, unless I hear, if it becomes a chore or a job, fuck that, because that's my whole point, man. Is that like, I don't want to work for nobody. I want to work for myself. You know what I mean? And work for yourselves when you want to do it. Obviously, like, you need to. You won't be motivated all the time. I'm not saying just do things when you feel like doing them, but when it comes to content, I think it's important to be authentic and naturally give something from yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see a Freestyle Friday, it's because I felt it that day, because I write them that day and then I record them that day based on how I feel that day. It can be depressing, it could be sending for someone, or it could be chatting to women, you know, because it's authentic. Whereas if I was to go create pieces of content and stuff on TikTok and stuff where I know I can get loads of numbers and stuff like that and probably go viral and get more streams and all of that, it's not the fan base I want, it's the fan base I'd have, you know. It's that thing. Yeah, I would prefer. There's so many ways to blow up. All you have to do is just research algorithms and then just basically make a few flow charts and then look at patterns and all of that. It's so easy, but again, it's not me. So I would be selling myself to the wrong way, and I wouldn't be able to maintain that. I'd end up flopping, and I'd end up saying I'm sick of this once I made a bit of money. Whereas if I keep doing what I'm doing now, I can't see myself ever getting bored of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's a good way to say I'm going to be myself, because yeah, you can't get bored. You can get bored of yourself, but you get bored way quicker if you're fucking up to 1 a.m. trying to figure out, oh fuck, what's a good TikTok to make, as opposed to just fucking being asleep.
Yeah, definitely. Like any TikToks that I do make that are funny just come into my head. Like I'll hear a bar in a song and I'll be like, imagine that situation there, like, and then I'll be like, and then if I can be arsed to actually sit there and make the TikTok, then I'll make it. But yeah, nah, I just think more consistently, like I reply to anybody, like I'll talk to anybody through my Instagram's the best place for me, really, because that's what I'm always on. But like I'll respond to everyone, blah blah blah, all of that stuff, because I feel like there's so many content makers as well. Everyone wants to be an influencer, but nobody wants to actually influence. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If you really wrote to an influencer and said, "Hi, I'm going to kill myself," because you're always on about mental health, and honestly reply to me and stuff, they'd probably see that in the request and go, "No." Do you know
or
what I
they'd
mean?
reply, screenshot it, and be like, "Hey guys, just want to let you know that I saved a life today."
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's either for a pat in the back. Like there's unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who advocate for mental health who are bullies themselves. I've seen it myself. I've seen people who are, and it's the political correctness side of things. Like, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of people who'd interpret me as just always trying to be PC and blah, 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 but that's fine too. That's their interpretation of me. That's fine. I know what I'm doing it for, because like I love humanity, whether it's anything, like, so if I see somebody being oppressed in any kind of way and I can use my platform to speak out against that, I'm always going to do that. It's just that the oppressed seem to trend differently, and it's impossible to constantly talk about everything all of the time. So you try and pick which ones are prevalent at the time. Like, I'll be honest, my dad got mad at me before for not talking about the Bessborough issues and the Irish church and all of that kind of stuff. He was mad at me for talking about other issues, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, I understand that, but that was X amount of years ago. It's still ongoing, blah blah blah. Understand that, but this is happening right now somewhere else, and I gotta prioritize.
Like because I've seen the Palestine talent show that you did. Like, you don't see anyone. I don't see anyone else in the Irish scene doing anything like that. Or even talking about raising money for charity. And like, what made you want to start that? And how did it go?
It went really well, man. We only did one. We did one, and then we raised £814 that night. So that was
is fucking insane.
Yeah,
bro. I wasn't expecting €100. Honestly, I was like, what? I was like, it was so insane, and like, I was just so appreciative to everybody that came up and showed support, and like, there was so many people just who wanted to show massive support. I think a lot of it comes from not wanting to be like, I'm annoying. Like, I think I'm annoying on social media. Like, I would be annoyed by my content to a degree. Like there's only so many times you can even see someone's name before you stop caring about the content. You're like, this guy again. He's talking about this, he's talking about how here. All I understand that, but at the end of the day, I'm not really gonna dial back on being annoying, because it's kind of a risk assessment in my head. It's like, there are people physically dying right now, or like, basically, you, like, when I did the Palestine thing and the talent show, I sent that to over like 400 people individually on my Instagram message.
Yeah, I got one.
There you go. And I basically said, if this is annoying you, or if this is not what you want to see, unfollow me. Simple as. Because again, I'd prefer to have less followers who follow me. And again, look, we can disagree on stuff like Pepsi and Coke and what football team you like. But if you are coming with, especially if you don't know anything and you're just coming with very minimal information, and you're saying, "Oh, this is," and you're not willing to change your mind based on any new information, then why do we need to speak to each other? We're just gonna argue about everything.
Well, I mean, like, it was a good thing to do. Like, it was a crazy good thing to do. And raising that much money is, and like, that's the thing as well. It's like, you could do like 4 fucking different raps about how many like drugs you take, but doing something like that, which is selfless, is almost better advertising and promotion than would be doing the the simpler things or the cooler things.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like, at the end of the day, like, you do it for yourself as well. Don't get me wrong. Here's the thing, right? it's not like I sat there and my first intention was, oh, good marketing strategy here would be to do this humanitarian stuff, you know what I mean? Because that would be for the wrong reasons. Obviously, that came into my mind afterwards. Like, you know, I had the intention. I was like, what can I do to improve this situation? I'd done a song for my Carry to Dairy thing to raise funds as well and all of that. And it was a case where I had the intention, I had blah, blah, blah. And then after that, yeah, it's a case of, yeah, you might fit into more pockets well and stuff, and it might benefit you personally, but that's fine. Because at the end of the day, right, the only reason that any of us do anything in life is either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. That's the only reason you'll ever make any decision in your life, to do one of those two things. So obviously, the reason that, why do I want to help these people? And well, because helping people makes me feel good. So I did do it for myself. But it's one of the least selfish reasons out of all the reasons that you could have picked, if that makes sense, to do things. Some people they'll put up a donation button on their page or something, and because they want to show face, they want to say, oh, I give to this charity, whatever, I believe in this, I believe in that. But will you go and walk 285 miles to prove that? Actually, no, you know, you will do that. You know what I mean?
That's what you were in the paper for, wasn't it?
Yeah. So so it was in the paper. So I did a song to raise promotion, and then I did the 285-mile walk. Obviously virtual walk because of restrictions and stuff. I averaged roughly around 15,000 steps a day. I didn't go out every day.
How many miles is that, or like roughly?
Well, so it was 285 miles, Kerry to Derry.
Jeez.
And how long did it take you?
I took a couple of months, man. I think it was like 2.5, maybe 3. Because again, I was averaging around 15,000 steps a day. But there was days, and even I think a week there where I didn't go out, and that was due to mental health stuff. Like that was just, you know.
That's fair. I mean, 280 miles is still fucking pretty much. Like,
I originally Googled Syria because I thought it was better, and then I was like, that would have taken me 280 days, and I was like, yeah, no. I was like, you know, I've got other stuff to be doing. But yeah, man, you know, all it is for me is just like, how can I help? That's all I ever think. Even when people meet me with anger and stuff like that, or whatever it is not. And again, I'm very preachy right now at the moment. Like I will
preach.
I will definitely like switch in a minute and like probably punch someone or give you loads of shit and be a prick or whatever. But like I think for the most part, I think I just try and get the best out of people. Do you know what I mean? In whatever way you can do that, like, so.
And do you think that's something you've learned to do, and do you think that even the music has helped you, like doing it yourself?
Yeah, definitely. It's helped me connect with more like-minded people. It's helped me connect with lots of different people, because you're friends with different people for different reasons, you know. Whether it be your local environment, whether it be drink, drugs, or whether it be strong bonds and friendship over many years, or whether it be someone you met 2 months ago who's got brilliant intentions for you musically or even mentally. You know, people are people, man. Like, the thing about whether I meet you yesterday or be friends with you your whole life is, if you've been an asshole your whole life, you still have been an asshole your whole life up until the point I've met you. So me meeting you in a shorter distance of time won't change the fact you were an asshole, or will continue to be an asshole. So do you get what I'm saying? Like, so you can meet anybody who's got good intentions to you. And I think I've met loads of people because of it. I think the main thing is what you put out into the world is what you'll get back. I put out shit into the world and I got shit back for a long time. So I changed the victim mentality and I said, what am I doing? Not what am I doing wrong, but what could I be doing better? So I started saying, well, I want love, so I'm going to start giving love. I want respect, I'm going to start giving respect. Do you know what I mean? I want a really, really, really hot girlfriend who does lots of things, you know.
Lots of things, I love
it. who does like butt stuff, no, or does whatever, you know, and just basically all of that. But like at the end of the day, and no, I want someone who's got integrity. I want someone who's smart. I want someone who's intelligent, ambitious, all of that. But where do I get off wanting those things and not being those things? Like, be the change you want to see in the world. So basically, what you see from me is a reflection of what I want to see in the world.
So you want butt stuff as well? That's what I'm getting.
I mean, look, yeah. I mean, like, I think, yeah. I'm up for a bit of pegging. I mean, if you love somebody.
Oh, I fucking am too. Me and you are in the pegging crew.
Oh god.
So this whole thing was meant to go on for like what, 30 minutes. I think we're so fucking far past that. The last thing I want to ask you is tell us what's next with the albums, because you say it's a 3-parter. Tell us what you got coming, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so the story with the albums is release wise, I don't know. That depends on life, because my circumstances keep changing when it comes to music, constantly changing. So yeah, the conceptualizing is there. And so like, I suppose the way to kind of map it out for you, if you go through my album, the way I'd suggest doing the Issues album, because that's bedroom produced, you know, that's the mic and a shitty laptop and us figuring out how to mix and master right there and then.
Yeah.
And me figuring out how to rap too, and how to breathe, and how to just doing all of these things and stuff. So, but anyway, but the concepts are there. So if you go through the first song to the second song, you start to get an emotional shift throughout the whole album based on each song that you go through. It kind of goes from sad, depressing to storytelling to me very inward to me telling depressing storytelling and issues outwardly, and then it kind of comes into a little bit of a cockier area, and then it comes into my kind of turn up stage, and then it finishes off with a positive note on Aspire, and that just kind of encapsulates my mind and everything about 3 years ago. This is something I suppose no one's heard yet, but the second album, it's a follow-on.
It's a PAWGcast fucking premiere.
Here we go. Yeah, there we go. It's exclusive. But the second one is basically, it's a continuation on from that, and that's going to be more focused around this year, previous year, and maybe a little bit before that, and a couple of things I hadn't dealt with from the first album. And then the third album will be obviously what happens between now and probably the next 2 years.
Okay.
So yeah,
do we have a release date for the second one, or anywhere close to it?
I suppose really, I'm gonna push for like hopefully end of year, so like maybe October, November time. Failing that, I'll drop it in February on the anniversary of the initial Issues album.
Okay, I like it. I like to hear that.
Do you know what? Okay, I'll do this for you guys. So I'll give you the album name. I'll give you the
here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so I'll give you the second album name, and nobody's heard this. Like, I haven't even fucking told. I don't think my brother this, but and because you're gonna be like, what? But anyway, the second album name is literally The.
So is it gonna be something like Issues The, or like is it gonna work backwards and being like something The Issues? Like past the issues, something like that. Is he like son of a bitch?
So I'll tell you about the second one, but you're gonna have to wait for the third one.
All right. I am ready to wait for the third one. So have you got any? Thank you for sharing the name with us too. But I'm ready to crack the third code. I'm excited to hear what the third one is. See if I was right. What have you got coming up next in the next few weeks or months, or what's the next project you're coming out with, or is it the album?
No, so the album is October, November, hopefully, and that'll be like 13 tracks or whatever. In the meantime, I've got so many tracks to release, singles, and so many different flavors. So I've got a couple of like tracks that are vibes, that I want to release for like summer and lockdown, and you know, because I want that energy, I want people to be able to go out and have a vibe because of me and stuff like that. So there's a couple of them. I've really taken to drill recently, but I have a massively. You're so not ready for the vibe I have. Like it's not. It's,
Are we getting the English accent?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Like, don't get me wrong. I lived in Birmingham for 5 years, and
you can do it then. You're allowed to. Fuck it.
Yeah,
you're definitely allowed to.
I have inflections, like I say bruv and I say in it, and but those are natural things that were just came into my vocabulary, and I got fond of using. Like there's words like if I said blood clot, then or that would be it even sounded wrong. Did you get what I'm saying? So yeah, but the thing with the drill is that not ready. So I have a couple of things I definitely can't talk about with the drill, but basically what I find on drill, why I love it, the energy is there. And it's always the same in terms of the narrative of what they're talking about. So all I've done is just been very Jmac about it. And I'm rapping about completely different things than what you know traditionally hear on drill. I'm just doing it with a shitload of energy.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, that's going to be good. That's going to be sick.
Jmac, we definitely could talk for another hour, 100%. I have a bunch of shit I wrote down that we didn't even get to. So when the podcast continues, we're going to have to get you on for another episode. And even if you want us on your podcast, Manifesting, we're definitely down for that. I want to say thanks for coming on. And please plug all your socials and let the people know your favorite ever bar.
Oh, do you mean favorite ever bar ever written?
From the hands of Jmac.
Oh, my favorite, my personal favorite bar.
Yes.
Oh man, that's so difficult. Oh,
I'll help you. I have 3 written down, And me and Jack agree on the last one. I said it, and Jack was like, "Man, I heard that too, and I fucking loved it." So, and these aren't the dad bars. These are the serious ones. So I had Mascara Fades, like the Belief in Her Potential. That was from your Domestic track. I thought that was fucking gold. I loved Quite Emotional, Viewed as Weak Quite Emotional, Viewed as Weak for a Man. That's from the Wabba Labba Dub Dub. Love the name of the track too. I seen it and I just went click. I seen the whole album. I was like, that okay, we're playing that first. And then my favorite is, and it sounds so stupid, but it's fucking genius. I was like, a man who visits his nan. That's a bad man. I was like, son of a bitch. I was genius. Yeah, they're the top three.
You know what? I have to say this one because I have to plug this bar. It was in my Redman challenge, and it's a funny bar. But I can't remember what the setup was, but the bar was Eeyore thing girl, drop that ass low. Because Eeyore is a depressed donkey.
Yeah, from Winnie the Pooh, is it?
Yeah. Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. If you remember Eeyore, the donkey, he was always depressed.
Yes.
So a low ass. So I basically said, Eeyore thing, baby girl, get that ass low. And it's the minority of people who actually ever will cop that. But that's I love doing that. Like, trust me, go back for anyone who watches. Trust me, go back and listen to some of my music.
Yes,
and
Ogre.
and just listen. There's one bar, for example. Sorry, like as a serious one. There's one where I said something. I Hulk it like Hogan. I rip through these bars. You would think that I'm Logan. So basically, I'm comparing my.
That's cold. I like that.
Yeah, I'm comparing my ability to rip through like bars, the way he rips through like metal bars and all of that. But he also frequents many pubs, and he goes to
he's a drinking problem, didn't he?
Yeah, because he has to leave as well.
All right, I wouldn't have got that one. I love that.
And then I go and I say go Beast on this beat, and Beast is also a reference because Beast from the X-Men as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously Hulk, who's from in the Incredibles, or no, not the Incredibles, fucking
Avengers.
The Avengers. Yeah, the Avengers, and then obviously Hulk Hogan as well. So like, there's a lot going on there, like, but you know.
No, that's my favorite now. Well, no, the Nan one is still my favorite, but that's my second. That's my second. Yeah, Jmac, thank you so much for coming on, man. I've been talking to you for a few months now, and I'm so glad that me and Jack got to talk to you, and it was awesome. And thank you for being the first episode. But plug the socials and let the people know where they can find these fucking incredible bars.
Yeah, man. So honestly, like, I've got like 30, 40 videos up on YouTube. So that, like, if you want to see my journey, if you want to go back 6 months and see like how shit I was, and then like as I got slowly less shit, and yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, like, go back and see my journey. If you want like the more albumy stuff and all of that, the cleaner stuff and everything like that, like production wise and everything, go to my Spotify. Like, literally just support me on Instagram or else Spotify. I'm always on those two platforms. I've got TikTok and everything if you want to jump over there, but predominantly Spotify.
We follow. We love
predominantly
TikTok.
Spotify. Yeah, if people can. Yeah, I'll be putting up like more funny stuff and stuff that I actually want to do. Like, I did do you remember somebody that you used to know, or somebody that I used to know? I did I've done a cover of Seaspiracy to that.
Okay. I want to.
It's like, I want to know why they took my tuna roll. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of So that's stuff for TikTok. But for serious stuff, follow me on like Instagram, and then stream stuff on Spotify.
And we're gonna have all the socials listed in whichever description that we have, and we're gonna have the link to Ogre, because I know people are gonna be fucking dying to click that. So thank you, Jmac, once again for coming on the first episode of the PAWGcast. And it's from me and Jack. Get some fucking fingers.
Yeah. Come on, boys. Let's go.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.